March 22, 1995. Althorpe House, 11:47 p.m. Princess Diana sat in her childhood bedroom, reading a newspaper article that made her blood run cold. The headline read, "Diana's sister reveals princess's darkest secrets." But this wasn't just any tabloid betrayal. This was Lady Sarah Spencer, Diana's own sister, selling intimate family secrets to the highest bidder. The article contained details that only Sarah could know: Diana's teenage eating disorder, her suicide attempts, her private conversations about Charles's affair. As Diana read her sister's quotes describing her as mentally unstable and attention-seeking, she realized that the Spencer family loyalty she had counted on was nothing but an illusion. The war wasn't just between Diana and the royal family anymore, it was between Diana and everyone, including her own blood. But what nobody knows is why Sarah betrayed Diana, and the shocking family secret that drove the Spencer sisters to destroy each other, the sister who started everything. 1977, the original betrayal. The war between Diana and Sarah Spencer actually began long before Diana married Charles. It started when Sarah, the eldest Spencer daughter, was dating Prince Charles herself. "I was the one who introduced Diana to Charles," Sarah would later boast to friends. "If it weren't for me, there would be no royal wedding, no princes, no Princess of Wales." But Sarah's version of events was a lie designed to cover her humiliation. The truth was far more devastating. In 1977, Sarah Spencer was Charles's girlfriend and believed she would become his wife. She was beautiful, sophisticated, and everything the palace wanted in a future queen. But Sarah made a fatal mistake. She spoke to the press about their relationship. "I wouldn't marry Charles if he were the dustman or the King of England," Sarah told a journalist, thinking she was being clever and independent. When Charles heard about the quote, he ended their relationship immediately. "I can't marry someone who talks to the press about our private life," he told Sarah coldly. Sarah was devastated, but she blamed Diana for Charles's rejection. In Sarah's twisted logic, if Diana hadn't been around as an alternative, Charles would have forgiven her mistake. But wait, you haven't seen how Sarah sabotaged Diana from the beginning. The sabotage begins in Grady 1981, undermining Diana's confidence. When Charles began courting Diana, Sarah appeared supportive, while secretly undermining her sister's confidence. "Diana, you're so naive," Sarah would say. "Charles is sophisticated, worldly. Are you sure you're ready for someone like him?" "Of course I am," Diana replied, but Sarah's words planted seeds of doubt. "I'm just worried you'll embarrass yourself. Or worse, embarrass the family. Remember, I was with Charles first. I know what he expects." Sarah constantly reminded Diana that she was second choice, that Charles had really wanted Sarah, but settled for Diana when Sarah became unavailable. "Charles told me he found me too independent," Sarah lied. "He wants someone more malleable, someone he can control. I suppose that's why he chose you." These comments destroyed Diana's confidence before her marriage even began. Sarah made Diana believe she was only chosen because she was weak and controllable. The most damaging sabotage was Sarah's advice about the wedding. "Diana, whatever you do, don't try to compete with Camilla Parker Bowles. Charles has history with her that you'll never understand. Just accept it and focus on producing an heir." Sarah convinced Diana that Charles's attachment to Camilla was normal, and that fighting it would only make Diana look desperate and needy. Hold up. Sarah's jealousy got much worse after Diana's success. The green-eyed monster. 1981 to 1990. Living in Diana's shadow. After Diana's fairy-tale wedding, Sarah's jealousy consumed her. She watched her younger sister become the most famous woman in the world, while she remained the sister who wasn't chosen. Sarah's marriage to Neil McCorquodale was happy but ordinary. She lived in a comfortable country house while Diana lived in palaces. Sarah attended local charity events while Diana met world leaders. "It should have been me," Sarah told her friend Lady Victoria Hervey. "I'm older, more experienced, better prepared for royal life. Diana was just a teenager when Charles chose her. But Diana has done wonderfully. Diana has done nothing. She married well, that's all. Anyone can marry a prince and wave at crowds. I would have been a better princess, a better wife, a better mother." Sarah's bitterness grew with every positive headline about Diana. When Diana was praised for her charity work, Sarah dismissed it as showing off. When Diana was celebrated for her style, Sarah called it superficial. When Diana was admired for her mothering, Sarah claimed it was overcompensation for her own insecurities. The breaking point came in 1992, when Sarah realized she could profit from Diana's fame. Don't miss this shocking detail: how Sarah began selling Diana's secrets, the first betrayal. November 1992, cashing in on Diana's pain. Sarah's first betrayal came just months after Charles and Diana's separation was announced. A tabloid journalist approached Sarah, offering £50,000 for insider information about Diana's marriage breakdown. Sarah's initial response was to refuse, but the money was tempting. Neil's business was struggling, and £50,000 would solve their financial problems. What kind of information? Sarah asked the journalist. Personal details about Diana's behavior, her emotional state, family reactions to the separation, things only a sister would know. Sarah justified her decision by telling herself she was setting the record straight about Diana's behavior. But in reality, she was selling her sister's pain for money. Sarah's first article was devastating. Diana has always been emotionally unstable. Even as a teenager, she had dramatic mood swings and attention-seeking behavior. The eating disorder, the crying fits, the suicide threats. These aren't new. They're part of Diana's personality. Our family tried to warn Charles before the wedding, but Diana can be very manipulative when she wants something. I love my sister, but she's not the innocent victim she pretends to be. She knew about Camilla from the beginning and chose to marry Charles anyway. When Diana read the article, she called Sarah immediately. How could you do this to me? Diana, I was trying to help. The press was making you look like a victim, and I thought people should know the truth. The truth. You called me mentally unstable in a national newspaper. You are mentally unstable. You need help, not sympathy. That phone call ended their relationship for 3 years. This is where Sarah's betrayal becomes truly unforgivable. The medical records scandal. January 1995, the lowest point. Sarah's most unforgivable betrayal came when she sold information about Diana's private medical treatment to a German tabloid for £200,000. The article detailed Room and Diana's bulimia treatment in 1982-1984, her suicide attempt in January 1982 while pregnant with William, her antidepressant medications and dosages, private conversations with therapists, details about her self-harm incidents. This information could only have come from someone with intimate family knowledge. Diana's medical team had signed confidentiality agreements, but family members were not bound by those restrictions. The most devastating quote from Sarah: Diana's mental health problems are much worse than the public knows. She's been in therapy for years but refuses to take responsibility for her own behavior. She blames everyone else, Charles, the palace, the press, but never looks at her own contribution to these problems. The suicide attempts are cries for attention, not genuine desire to die. Diana knows exactly how to manipulate people's sympathy. When Diana discovered that Sarah was the source, she was devastated beyond words. You're not going to believe Diana's confrontation with Sarah. The sisterly showdown. March 22, 1995. Althorpe House. Diana drove to Althorpe House to confront Sarah face to face. Their argument would be heard by staff throughout the estate. How dare you sell my medical records? Diana screamed as she stormed into Sarah's sitting room. I didn't sell anything. I shared concerns about your well-being with a journalist who misrepresented. Don't lie to me. They quoted you directly. You described my therapy sessions, my medications, my private conversations with doctors. Sarah's mask of concerns slipped. Someone needs to tell the truth about you, Diana. You've manipulated the press for years, playing the victim while destroying everyone around you. Destroying everyone. I'm the one being destroyed. By Charles, by the palace, and now by my own sister. You're destroying yourself, with your drama, your neediness, your constant demand for attention and sympathy. Diana was shocked by the venom in Sarah's voice. Why do you hate me so much? Because you stole my life. Sarah finally exploded. Charles was mine first. That should have been my wedding, my princes, my fame. You were nobody before you married him. So this is about Charles. After all these years, you're still jealous that he chose me. He didn't choose you. He settled for you because I was too honest about our relationship. You were just available. Diana realized that Sarah's betrayal wasn't about money or concern. It was about a 15-year-old grudge over a man who had never truly loved either of them. Here's the most heartbreaking part. What Diana discovered about the family conspiracy. March 1995, the full truth. During their confrontation, Diana discovered that Sarah's betrayals were part of a larger Spencer family conspiracy against her. Sarah, who else have you been talking to? Because some of these details, only Charles could know them. Sarah's silence was answer enough. You've been working with Charles, feeding him information about my therapy, my medications, my private thoughts? Diana, Charles is concerned about your mental state. As your family, we have a responsibility. You've been spying on me for Charles, reporting back to him about my recovery, my relationships, my plans. Diana realized that Sarah had been Charles's inside source for years, providing him with ammunition to use against her in their divorce proceedings. But the worst revelation was yet to come. Sarah, what about Mummy? Does she know what you've been doing? Sarah's expression confirmed Diana's worst fears. Frances Spencer, their mother, was also part of the conspiracy. Mummy thinks you're making the family look bad. Your public breakdown, your interviews, your attacks on Charles, it's embarrassing for all of us. Diana understood that her entire family had chosen sides, and they hadn't chosen hers. Don't miss this revelation, the financial motivation behind the betrayal, the money trail. 1992-1997, Sarah's Spencer sellout. Investigation revealed that Sarah had been systematically selling Diana's secrets for 5 years. The payment schedule. 1993, £75,000 for bulimia information. 1994, £100,000 for suicide attempt details. 1995, £200,000 for medical records. 1996, £150,000 for divorce proceedings, insider information. 1997, £300,000 for Dodie relationship details. Total, £875,000. Sarah had made nearly £1 million selling her sister's pain to tabloids around the world. But the money wasn't just for Sarah. Investigation showed that payments were being split 3 ways. Sarah Spencer, 50%, Frances Spencer, their mother, 30%, Charles's representatives, 20%. Diana's own family was profiting from her misery while helping Charles build his case against her. The final betrayal, what Sarah did after Diana's death, the death exploitation. September 1997, profiting from Diana's death. Even Diana's death didn't stop Sarah's exploitation. Within weeks of the Paris crash, Sarah was selling exclusive grief interviews and final memories to international media. Sarah's post-death sales, £500,000 for My Final Conversation with Diana, £300,000 for Diana's fears about her safety, £250,000 for Diana's last letter to her sons, £400,000 for the Sisters' Regret exclusive. Sarah made more money from Diana's death than she had from 5 years of betraying her while alive. The most disgusting quote from Sarah after Diana's death: "I wish I could have saved Diana from herself. She was always her own worst enemy. But now she's at peace, and I'm sharing these memories to help people understand the real Diana, not the perfect saint everyone is creating, but the troubled sister I loved despite her flaws." Sarah was still undermining Diana's reputation even in death, portraying herself as the loving sister who had tried to help the troubled Diana. The truth: Sarah Spencer's betrayal of Diana wasn't just about money or jealousy. It was about a woman who never got over being rejected by Prince Charles and spent 15 years punishing her sister for succeeding where she had failed. Sarah turned her sister's greatest vulnerabilities, her mental health struggles, her marital problems, her search for love and acceptance, into profitable commodities to be sold to the highest bidder. The Spencer family loyalty that Diana had counted on throughout her royal struggles was nothing but an illusion. Her own blood relatives were working against her, profiting from her pain, and helping her enemies destroy her. Diana's greatest tragedy wasn't her failed marriage or her early death. It was discovering that the family she thought would always support her had been selling her secrets and undermining her survival for years. Some betrayals come from enemies. The most devastating betrayals come from family.